Good day everyone, I'm James Aldrin Estabillo, taking up Doctor of Philosophy and Education, major in Information and Technology Education. Today, I'm going to share it with you, a data analytics based on the research title that I'm going to present it with you. The research entitled Assessing the Effectiveness of a Remediation Class Program for KNCHS Junior High School TLE students on academic performance using the t-test analysis. Educating learners is the core reason for all teaching learners processes which is undertaken in each classroom in the formal education platform. However, not all students can accommodate the learning processes, and this results with the different outcomes. With this in mind, teachers need to create an intervention plan and not let these other students fall behind and still catch up with the lessons being discussed. A remedial class is always an impressive way to solve this common problem. In KNCHS, we have 15,000 students enrolled with a ratio of 1:50 students in a classroom with limited number of hours per subject. Considering that double shifting is implemented this school year due to the huge number of students officially enrolled in our school. Teachers need to do extra efforts to supplement their teaching from time to time. Remediation activities as one guarantees education assistance to those children who are low performers and absentees. This ensures better academic performance for all the pupils or students who are at risk of dropping out and failing. Besides, resolve that an intervention integrating both the growth mindset and stress mindset is not more effective than a single growth mindset in assessing middle school students with outlook. In the school's division of Coronadal City, low academic performance is observed among students in technology and livelihood education and other subjects. In fact, the division overall rating is previous National Achievement Test or the NAT is only 48 up to 51%. This result is far from the minimum passing rate of 75%. This is the main reason that our school had decided to conduct a remedial class to augment the school's initiatives to increase their academic standing and reduce the number of dropouts. For the objectives, this data analytics is to assess the effectiveness of remediation activities to the academics performance of TLE grade 9 students for the first and second quarter. This data analytics would reveal if there is a difference between the students' performance after the remediation intervention. This data analytics would address the issue on how the school could lessen the number of school dropouts and help the students improve in their performance in the subjects of TLE. For the research questions, number 1, is there a significant difference in the academic performance of students in TLE subject after the remediation activities? Number 2, is there a significant difference between the students' academic performance in TLE subject for the first and second quarter when grouped according to gender? And for the null hypothesis, HO1, there is no significant difference between the student academic performance in TLE subject for the first and second quarter. HO2, there is no significant difference between students' academic performance in TLE subject for the second quarter between male and female students. For the justification, in the school's divisions of Coronadal City, low academic performance is observed among students in TLE and other subjects. In fact, the division overall rating in previous National Achievement Test is only 48 to 51%. This result is far from the minimum passing rate of 75%. This data analytic could augment the school's initiative to increase their academic standing. Remediation provides avenues to acquire the competencies that our learners needed to be equipped and ready for the next of their endeavor, as stipulated in the Department of Education DepEd Order Number 73 Series of 2012. For the data collection, the data collected from the TLE teachers involved and sought the result of the first quarter grades. With the low results of the students' first quarter grades, same students' data used in the second quarter, but with the remediation activities in class. The data that is used in these analytics are taken from the grade 9 TLE students and in one of the biggest secondary schools in Region 12. It is limited to the first and second quarter grades and TLE of 100 grade 9 students enrolled in KNCSS Junior High School. The students ages ranging from 14 to 15 years old, both males and females. Let's proceed to the analytical method. The results of this study was encoded, tabulated, and treated statistically using the Microsoft Excel and the JUST software. This data employed a paired sample t-test and independent t-test to describe any significant difference between the two groups. A JUST software is used to analyze the gathered data for the analytics. The grades of the first and second quarter were compared and analyzed based on the computed t-value. For the audience implications of the study, Department of Education top management may use and adopt these strategies for the promotion of higher academic perspective. For the school heads and teachers, could adopt the use of remediation activities as part of the teaching methodology of teachers to increase students' performance. School heads may include remediation workloads in their school learning activity cell or the Slack for the promotion of higher academic performance learners in all the subjects. And for the stakeholder parents, it can give constructive feedback to parents on how they can further support their child's learning and development. And for the students, it helps students improve their academic performance by providing additional instruction, support, and practice in specific subject or skills where they are struggling. So this time, let's check and open our data file. So my data file is already exported into the CSV file so that it could be opened into our JAS file. So here is my first column for the first quarter and the second column for the second quarter. And of course, I have also the data for the male and female. So these are my respondents for the data analytics. So this time we will now going to open our JAS file. So here is the data, or this is my file after opening the file in the JAS file. So all I have to do is first I have to set the data into scale, and independent variable is of course the gender. Now first I will going to click the descriptive. So the purpose of the descriptive is for me or for us to know if there is a normality in our data. So I will going to open the first and second quarter, and I have to click the statistics. So for the statistics, I only have to click the skewness, the Shapiro-Wilk, the kurtosis, and the mean. So in this case, the mean is 81% for the first quarter, and for the second quarter is 84.790. And for the skewness, so you can see that for the first quarter it is 0.619, for the second quarter that is 0.502, and for the Shapiro-Wilk, so the Shapiro-Wilk is 0.8112, and for the second quarter 0.947. And of course for the last is the p-value of Shapiro-Wilk. So this time the Shapiro-Wilk is negative or less than the 0.01. So it means that the data is approximately normally distributed. So of course we can also check by checking the box plot or the QQ plot and the tables for our box plot. Okay, as you can see, our box plot is normally distributed because there is no outliers in our data. And of course, for the first quarter, the QQ plot, so most of all the data are is within the line. So except for those, but few of them, but most of the data are is in the line. So we can say that this is normally distributed. So we can use now for the t-test. So considering that we know that the data is approximately normal, so we will going to click now the t-test. So what is now the t-test? The t-test is a statistical test that is used to compare the means of two groups. So it is also often used in hypothesis testing to determine whether a process or treatment actually has an effect on the population of interest or whether the two groups are different from the other. So first is we will have our independent t-test. So what is an independent t-test? So when we say independent t-test, it is used to compare two samples means from unrelated groups. So this means that there are different people providing scores for each groups. So the purpose of this test is to determine if the samples are different from each other. So in my case, I have two variable for the second quarter, and another variable unrelated group is the gender, and I will going to click the descriptive. So right after this, we will going to interpret what this data means. And for the paired sample test, so what is the paired sample test? So sometimes it is called the dependent sample t-test. So it is a statistical procedure used to determine whether the mean difference between two sets of observation is zero. In a paired sample t-test, each sample or each subjects or entity is measured twice, resulting in pairs of observation. So we're going to test the first and the second quarter, and now I'm going to click the descriptive. Then right after here, we will going to export this into our statistical data so that we could generate and interpret this data. So for the result and discussion, for question 1, I used the paired sample t-test. So table 1 shows that the academic performance in the second quarter in which remedial class is adopted with a mean of 84.790, standard deviation of 1.986 is greater than the academic performance in the first quarter with no remedial intervention was adopted with a mean of 81.340, standard deviation of 1.451. And for the table number 2, it shows that the p-value is 0.001, which is less than the 0.05. Since the p-value is less than 0.05, then it is statistically significant. There is statistically significant difference between the TLE grades in the first and second quarter. Therefore, we reject the null hypothesis. Now, for the table number 3, it is the result for the question number 2. I used the independent sample t-test. So it shows that the academic performance of female with a mean of 85.540, standard deviation of 1.644 is greater than the academic performance of male with mean of 84.040, standard deviation of 2.030 in the second quarter. Now for the table 4 shows that the p-value is 0.001, which is less than the 0.05, and since the p-value is less than the 0.05, then it is statistically significant. The TLE grades in the second quarter of male students are significantly different from the grades of the female student. Therefore, we reject the null hypothesis. Now for the conclusion. So based on the result, one-tailed paired sample t-test revealed that the academic performance of the academic in TLE for the second quarter, which is remedial class, is conducted is significantly higher than the academic performance of the student during the first quarter where no remedial class is conducted. So therefore, the null hypothesis is rejected. There is a significant difference between the student academic performance in TLE between the first and second quarter. And of course, for the conclusion number 2, based on the result, it was revealed that the academic performance of female students on the second grading has statistically different compared to the academic performance of the male student in the second quarter. Therefore, the null hypothesis is rejected. It was also found out that the academic performance of female students is higher than the academic performance of the male students in the second quarter. So for my recommendation, conduct furthermore study with recommended size, considering limited number of data to one section per school. The result could be more reliable if there were more participants included in the study. The duration of the study only covered 2 grading periods because it could have been more practical if the measures were done for the school year to decide if the intervention really worked out substantially for the students who are participated in the study. And another is plan activities or remediation in order to give the mixed students the chance to at least get higher or equal grade like the female students. For the teachers who continuously attend more trainings and seminars on different teaching strategies in TLE for better teaching competencies. So thank you for listening and good day.